everybody, I'm Victoria and today I've got a book haul and unboxing for you. So these are all the books that I bought in June. So let's just dive right in. First one, we have a book Depository, bought some books from there. If you have seen some of my other videos this month or follow me on Instagram, hint hint, link down below, then you'll know that I actually have opened this already. But I thought for dramatic effect, why not keep the packaging? It's really cool. I like how it all wraps around and stuff. And then the books, boom. And I always love that they give you a bookmark with different lovely art on it. I think that's nice, very nice of them. So first up, I have Lips Touch by Laini Taylor. This is a collection of 3 short YA fantasy stories by her. And I've actually started reading this. I've read the first one and I read part of the second one. And I'm enjoying it. It's, I would say, maybe not on the same level as the rest of her work, but still great if you are completist to read these. And when I finish this, I will have read everything by Laini Taylor available. Then we have the beautiful 20th anniversary edition of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I actually got this because I don't need money. Who needs to eat or live in a house? I actually got this because it was a pretty good deal and it was just so beautiful. I purposefully got the paperback and not the hardback. I didn't love it as much, but I just love the red all around with the black on top of it. I think it stands out a lot more than the black with the red of the hardback. I've also actually never read the original UK version of this, so I read the Americanized versions where words have been changed and everything. So I thought that would be fun and kind of interesting to see what the differences are. And then of course, yay, it's Gryffindor. And it has some different information in it too. So you have some different things that are specific to your house. So I'm excited for this and I will eventually be reading this. It's not on the top of my list, but it'll be there someday. Moving on, I got some graphic novels for the Getting Graphic Readathon that I did earlier this month, and so I'm just going to show you a few of those. So the first 2 that I have are Mouse by Art Spiegelman, and these tell the story of his father in Nazi Germany and then eventually his removal to a concentration camp. I have started the first one about halfway through, and it's definitely an important, powerful story. I'm enjoying reading it, and I will definitely be getting to the second volume in this. Then I got Through the Woods with stories by Emily Carroll. So this is a collection of short stories in the horror genre. The art in this is absolutely gorgeous, very beautiful, kind of spooky, atmospheric, just wonderful. And I really suggest it if you want something maybe a little bit different, dip your toe into the horror genre. If you're not a huge fan of really scary things, it's not too terribly scary, but again, very atmospheric and beautiful. Then I got The Wicked and the Divine by Gillian McLady, Wilson and Callis. So this is a graphic novel, the first one in the series. This tells the story of gods that every 90 years are kind of reincarnated into the bodies of teenage individuals. The artwork in this is phenomenal. I can't stand how beautiful it is. I'm trying to find something non-spoilery. Just gorgeous, very much my aesthetic, and I really love the story a lot. I gave this 4 out of 5 and definitely would recommend it. And that was going to be it. And then Book Outlet had a 15% off sale, and a whole bunch of books that I have been stalking came into stock on there. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy them. I'm terrible. So we have a lovely big old box of books. Let's dive right into it. Paper. Okay. This is going to be a very Russian kind of centric thing. I don't know. So first up we have Vasa in the Night by Sarah Porter. So I've heard some mixed things about this. I've heard it's very, very weird, and it's kind of based on Eastern European and Russian folk tale. And we follow Vasa as she travels throughout Brooklyn, and it's kind of a retelling of those folk tales. So I am a fan of weird. So I thought, you know, hey, why not? It was like $5. I love the cover, it's beautiful. And I want to try kind of expanding my mythology and reading about some of those other myths that I don't know quite as well as other traditional ones. Then I got Deathless by Catherine M. Valente. And again, this is kind of a retelling or reimagining of Russian folklore. We follow Koshchei, The Deathless, I did not say that right. And it's kind of this weird twisted love story and also the fallout of war and what happens when a nation is subjected to war. I've heard also that this is kind of a difficult novel to sort of get into, and it is very odd. But I have, like I said, been keeping my eye on this for a while, and I'm really, really interested to see how this goes. I am a big fan of Catherine M. Valente. Well, not a big fan. I started reading her children's book, The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making, and I'm really loving the writing style of it. So I'm hoping that, not something exactly similar, but I have a feeling that if that her aesthetic remains the same in here, that I'm going to enjoy this. And yeah, I'm looking forward to tackling this. Then we have Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. This is a National Book Award winner and a super important read. Essentially, Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing a letter to his son and just talking about the issues of growing up in America today and dealing with racism. Again, this is another book that I have been wanting to read for a while and trying to kind of read diversely and read very important works that are so very vital to this day and age, especially with so many things that are going on and our current events, that I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. Then we have The Gigantic Beard That Was Evil by Stephen Collins, and this again is another book that I have been stalking. This is a graphic novel, and it's told with really beautiful, sort of simple, I don't know if you can see, almost pencil drawings, and there's a lot of cross-hatching and texture throughout this that I really appreciate. Essentially, this is a story with, it seems silly at first, but from my understanding, there's a lot deeper meaning. It is about a beard that is evil and continues to grow and take over, but it's also kind of confronting issues of conformity and dealing outside of social norms. And I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing what the subtext says in this. And again, like I said, the artwork just seems very, very lovely. All right, so moving right along, we have Tiny Pretty Things, and this is by Sonia Charaiporata. Oh my goodness. And Donielle Clayton. I am so sorry for mispronouncing your name. I'm just not, names and me, we don't get along. Anywho, this is essentially the story of students at a premier ballet academy and their trials and tribulations that they go through while there, and also about the extreme competitiveness of this. So I wouldn't normally pick up a book about ballet, but I think that I could definitely relate to this, having been through the music school or the music conservatory. And so I'm kind of hoping to get sort of those vibes. Well, I mean, I don't know if I want to relive that, but I'm hoping to get sort of that kind of very competitive fight to be the perfect and the best at what you do. And I'm looking forward to seeing kind of how these characters interact with each other and deal with each other. Then we have The Game of Love and Death by Martha Brockenbrow. This tells the story of two people growing up in Seattle during the Depression and their love of jazz. One is a white boy, the other is an African-American girl, and they fall in love. But that's not the end of it, because we have the embodiments of love and death, and they're actually playing a game, and they're pitted against one another, and these two young lovers are objects of their game. So this is such an interesting concept. I think that this has some mixed reviews on Goodreads from what I've seen. It doesn't have a super high score, but I just absolutely loved the concept and so many interesting things going on. You have the star-crossed lovers, you have the actual real embodiments of love and death, and then playing this game that interferes in the lives of mortals. There's so many things that I love about this concept, and I'm really, really hoping that it does pay off, but we shall see. And last but not least, we have The Wolf Wilder by Catherine Rundell. So this is a middle grade book that tells the story of a young girl and her mother. They take on wolves that have been tamed by nobles, and when the nobles don't want them anymore, they take them in and trying to reintroduce them into the wild, essentially teaching them how to be wolves again. Her mother goes missing or is kidnapped, and so the young girl Fedora. And so the young girl Theo must brave the difficulties of the Russian forest in winter to try and find her. Can I just say that this is one of the most beautifully designed books that I have seen. I thought the cover was gorgeous, and the whole wolf thing just sold me. I love wolves. I was like, yes, I'm there. And then I got this in person, and I don't know if you can tell, but it is gorgeous. It's this blue watercolor with this gold that just really, really sticks out. And then look at the back. And then when you open it, the inside How beautiful is this? The end pages, and then again with the watercolor. And then look at the back, look at these, just how beautiful that is. And then even the naked book itself is just beautiful in the blue and the white and gold. So this is definitely, I feel like, one of the most beautiful books I've ever seen. So it can be awful and I will still just stare at it, the beautifulness. So yeah. And that, my dear viewers, is it. Those are all the books that I bought in June. Let me know what you think about any of these. Have any of you heard of these? Did any of you read any of these? I'd love to hear your opinions. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fabulous day. Bye.